Hello everyone, this is the answers for numbers 9 through 12 on the 9.1 worksheet. This homework was assigned on Wednesday, May 6th. So, and a lot of you guys, as I was looking at these, your numbers were for A, the quartiles, your number was like one off or like a half off, and that probably has to do with you guys forgetting one of these numbers. So it's really important that when you're putting these numbers in order, you take the time to check it and maybe double check it. Because once you leave one number off, it's really going to change your answer. Okay, so you got to be careful. So the first one we're doing is finding the median, the first, and the third quartile. So there's 16 numbers here. That means there's two numbers in the middle. And since there's 16 numbers, that means the 8th and the ninth number, that's going to be the 12 and the 14. Those two are the numbers in the middle. So remember, when we have two numbers in the middle, we find the average. But sometimes it's kind of easy for us to tell what number's in the middle of 12 and 14. That's going to be 13. So the median here is going to be 13. Now, the first quartile is the median of the lower half. Now, down here we have 8 numbers. So we pick the fourth and the fifth number. Those are the two in the middle. And again, just looking at this, you should be able to tell that the average of 8 and 9 is 8.5. Okay? And then, of course, for the upper half, the top half, that's going to be the third quartile. So again, it's going to be the fourth and the fifth number, the two numbers that are in the middle. And obviously the average of 17 and 18 is 17.5. So the number in between here is 17.5. Okay, now calculate the interquartile range. So the interquartile, the IQR, the interquartile range, don't forget, is this right here. It represents this, the 50% here. Okay, this. Okay, from quartile 3 to quartile 1. So you have to do quartile 3, which is 17.5. And then you're going to subtract quartile 1, which is 8.5. And that's going to give us 9. The interquartile range is 9. So now it says to interpret the interquartile range. So we could say two things here. We could say either the difference of the quiz scores for the middle 50% is not more than 9 points. So again, this is this middle 50%. So the difference between these is at most 9 points. Or we could say the middle 50% score between 8.5 and 17.5 points. So here's again, there's the middle 50%. The lowest score for the middle 50% was 8.5, and the top score was 17.5. So either way, either thing works. Okay, so for the next one, it says the table shows the amount of time in minutes 12 patients waited to see a doctor. So let's do this. So find the median, first, and third quartiles. Again, guys, you have to be careful about this. Make sure you check and double check. So we have 12 patients. That means the 6th and the 7th numbers are going to be the 2 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So here we have two numbers. So we have two numbers in the middle. They're both 12. So the median is just going to be 12. All right. Now we have to find, so the median is here. It's 12. Now we got to find the first quartile. So we take these bottom 6 numbers and we find the median. So the two numbers in the middle is going to be 8 and 10. Obviously, the middle of that is going to be 9. So the first quartile is 9, and then on the right side, or the upper part, we have 6 numbers, so we have 2 in the middle. That's going to be 17 and 20. The median of that, if you just the mean of them, so the overall median of the upper half is going to be 18.5. And don't forget, I got this by adding 17 and 20 to get 37 and dividing that by 2. And again, sometimes you can just eyeball it and you can tell what number's in the middle. So the interquartile range is going to be Q3 minus Q1. So in other words, we're doing 18.5 minus 9, which equals 9.5. So for letter C, it says, interpret the percent of patients above the third quartile. So the third quartile is right here. Sorry, we're frozen. So here's the third quartile. I'm sorry. Here's the third quartile. So the patients above the third quartile, so if here's the third quartile, all of these people are above the third quartile. So what you could say here is you could say 25% of the patients waited at least 18.5 minutes. So that means the lowest amount they waited was 18.5 minutes, but they could have waited more. Some of them waited more than that. So remember, each one of these sections, so this section, this one, and this one all represent 25%. So that's where we got this percent from. 25% waited at least 18.5 minutes. For the last two, it says the brake reaction time of 240 motorists is summarized into quartiles below. So there we have Q1, which is 1.1 seconds, Q2 is 1.6, and Q3 is 2.5 seconds. Now remember, each one of these sections, these three quartiles, make 4 sections. And each one of these sections represents 25%. So if I have a total of 240 motorists, so this whole chart here represents 240 motorists, right? That means each section represents 25% of 240. So 25% of 240 is 60. So this represents 60 people. This represents 60. This is 60. And this is 60. Okay? So, first one says, how many motorists have a brake reaction time of less than 2.5 seconds? Well, 2.5 seconds is right here. So how many have a reaction time less than this? Well, if you see, if this is cube 3, there's 3 sections that are quicker. So each section represents 60 drivers. So therefore, 60, 60, 60, 60 plus 60 plus 60, or 60 times 3 is going to be 180. So there's 180 drivers that have a reaction time of less than 2.5 seconds. 12 says, how many motorists have a brake reaction time of more than 1.1 seconds, but less than 1.6? So, this right here, just erase this, this right here represents 1.1 seconds, and this represents 1.6 seconds. So how many motorists have a reaction time of in between these two times? Well, that's just 60. So there's 60 people. If you have any questions, please email me.